Okay, boys and girls, you should have your close reading book opened up to page 6, and the passage is called Sand Sculpture. Let's read our directions. It says, read the passage, restate the questions, and answer the questions using complete sentences. Let's look at number 1, part A. Based on the passage, how does science help sand sculptors? Okay, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to look for a word that is misspelled in number 1 and circle it. Which word is spelled incorrectly? Okay, now that you've circled the incorrect spelling, let's go ahead and look at our question. They want to know how science helps sand sculptors. Do you remember what page that's on? That's right. It is on page 7. Why don't you go back and reread page 7 and see if you can underline where you can answer that question. Okay, did you find it? Let's go ahead and restate. Science helps sand sculptors. So if you circled this word here as the word misspelled, you are correct. Okay, now that you have this written down, remember, this is only restating the question. Now you need to answer it. I would check where you annotated because I have a feeling that that is going to be a huge help, which is why we do that. Go ahead and pause this video, answer number 1, and then unpause it and move on to question 2. Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. Let's look at part B. And we know that once we put an answer on part A, we always have to prove it or support it using part B. So let's see what it says. Which sentences supports your answer to part A? So when you found your answer to part A, which sentences in the text helped really prove it and support it? Those are the sentences you're going to write for number 2. So let's go ahead and restate it. The sentences that supports my answer are, we're going to put a colon, and then we're going to put the words that we grab from the text in quotations because we're borrowing them from the author. Okay, and we want the reader to know that they're not your words, they're the words of the author. Okay, remember to put end quotes once you're done copying the sentences from your text, and of course the correct punctuation. Okay, remember, number 2 should not look just like this. It should have an answer after the restate. Go ahead and pause this video, answer your question, and then unpause it. We'll go on to question number 3. Okay, question number 3 says, which word in the passage suggests the meaning of bridges as used in the passage? What does the word suggest mean? That's right. Suggests is just a fancy word for hint, like when we get a hint. Okay, say your teacher asks you a question and you're not really sure, your teacher will give you a hint to help you answer it. That's what suggests means. The meaning of bridges. Okay, so we're going to go back in the text and we're going to see if we can find that word. Go ahead and put a box around it and read the words around that word. See if you can find hints that helps you understand what the word bridges are in the text. Let's go ahead and restate. The word that suggests the meaning of bridges. Is, and then you're going to write the word right here, and of course end your sentence with a period. Go ahead and pause the video, find the word, and write it right after the word is, and you will have number 3 done. Okay, let's look at the last question. Great job, boys and girls. All right, it says, what do sand sculptors do after they stack blocks of hard, wet sand? So notice after is in real bold writing. So we're going to put a box around it. I'm also going to underline this part here, because when I go back into the text to answer my question, I'm going to be looking for those words. Okay? After I have located the words in the text, I'm going to read around it and find out. And remember, it has to be what they do after. Let's go ahead and restate our question. After sand sculptors stack blocks of hard, wet sand, they, and then you would write your answer right after that. Don't forget to end with punctuation. Okay, boys and girls, it looks like you are done with all 4. What you need to do now is go back and start with question 1 and read your answer. Make sure you started with a capital letter at the beginning of each sentence and you ended with punctuation. And does what you're saying make sense? Do that for each and every number. Make sure you have proper punctuation and that your sentences make sense. Okay, when you are done, give yourself a pat on the back and tell yourself, good job. Move on to the next item to do.